Right, happy Christmas everybody.
And you.
Our last session before the holidays, and so we've got a 2-week break after today, the Christmas week and the New Year week. Then we're back the week after that, whatever the first week in January is. So the programme for next year, I've emailed through, but 1 or 2 people said it wouldn't open up. You couldn't pick it up, so I'll have another go. And
Or PDF?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll try that. Or I might just literally paste it onto the email. I'll do a bit of both. I'll do a few more versions of that so you can read it. Right, so yeah, I'll do that. So the theme for when we come back is urban scenes. So it's like buildings and any kind of urban scenes. I'll start fairly simple and then you can make it as complicated as you want. That's what we have a look at in January. I thought for our last session, I would just talk a little bit about displaying work and framing. So I brought loads of pictures that are in frames. And if you've got any ideas or anything you want to contribute, please do chip in. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to exhibit my work for quite a few years now. I think the very first exhibition I had in Essex was like just at the mill there, in the mill centre. And then I've been part of Lee Art Trail for well over 10 years. So I've always had somewhere where I can show my work and show maybe 20, 30 pictures at a time. When I got into the Art Trail, I found that I needed a lot of frames really, because a lot of my paintings are on bits of board, bits of hardboard or MDF. And so I needed some way of displaying them, so they needed to go into frames. Most of the frames I've got here, and most of the frames that I have, I tend to make myself. This one, I'll show you first, because this isn't one I've made myself. This is just a fairly inexpensive frame that I bought from the range. And I don't think it cost maybe like it might be £5 or £10. I've had it a while and I can't remember exactly. But they really aren't that expensive at all.
But what's expensive is the frame, the white frame, isn't it? The paper.
The insert.
Yeah.
What, these bits?
Yeah.
They're expensive,
For
are they?
about £4 something for.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But I mean, I think some of their frames you can get you get a mount in them as well. You can buy the mount separately.
I got them from ones that didn't have them.
Yeah. So yeah, some do have the mount. Some you can buy separately. But even that, even if it's £4, it's not a fortune for a bit.
No,
What's
not.
it? I found that.
You don't sell it.
Sorry.
If you don't sell it, it's a fortune, isn't it? If you sell it, it's all right. But
I started buying these frames really for sketches and prints, so things that I was selling fairly inexpensively. This mount, I think, is one that I bought ready cut. I can cut them myself, but I found that if I was just sticking to one particular size, so that sort of A4 size, and if you were just working to A4 size, I found this company is quite good, and they really wanted to buy quite a few at a time. So I was probably buying about 20 at a time or 10 at a time. Can't remember exactly because it's a while since I bought any.
All different sizes, or
Sorry?
all different sizes, or one.
They do all different sizes, yeah. They've got standard set sizes, and I think you can just request particular sizes. But they will do a better price if you're buying quite a few. So I found that actually, so they do like the mounts. This was like a little sample pack of, I think there's 3 mounts. This is like a backing board, and there's also like the plastic envelope. So, I mean, some of my students I know show work at Southend Art Club, and they have like a browser section, so you can have stuff in browsers. So this would be ideal if you wanted to show your work in the browser, really, something like that. And when I worked it out, it was actually cheaper to buy these than to actually buy the mount board and cut it myself. Because once you buy a piece of mount board, you then got a load of waste, and this worked out to be cheaper. So this is quite, if you're thinking to work a fairly standard size, or if there's a few working to standard size, that is definitely a good way to go for these sort of mounts. And that way you keep the cost down. So that's that. And when I started making my own, I started off by just buying wood and routering it out. And I know Sue in our morning class was interested in sort of trying to make the whole thing, which I wouldn't really recommend. I found that it's a lot of work, and pine has a lot of knots in, and then when you come to paint it, the knots kind of leak out. It's just not great. It's too much work. So, but I found that I could buy this sort of moulding. So I'll buy this moulding it comes out this sort of colour. You get that from the wholesalers. It comes in like 10-foot length. And then I've over the years, I've bought picture framing equipment. So when I left college, I did a bit of work for a picture framer for about a year. So I kind of learned some of the stages of making picture frames. So to start with, I just bought these and painted them white. More recently, I've tended to try and paint them a grey colour. I think this sort of preferred this look. When I go up to London and look at a lot of galleries and exhibitions, quite a lot of the frames are a little bit more like this, perhaps a more neutral colour, and then a white or cream insert, and I think that can look quite nice.
There's a lot of them with a black insert.
You could do black, yeah.
I don't know why. Why would you have a black insert on there?
It's all aesthetics, isn't it? So that one I've got a black insert.
Yeah, but that matches the outside. If you had a white and then a black insert,
Yeah.
it looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, different people like different things. It just all comes down to taste. But that's sort of pretty much how I tend to frame my work now. I tend to work fairly standard sizes, so that if this particular painting wasn't going to sell, or I wanted to show a different painting, I can just take it out the back. These little clip things they're called flexi points, and you can just get a little trowel underneath and do that, and then swap your painting over. So it's very quick to do that. And this is like it's a bit like a staple gun. So you can, if they break off, I can add an extra clip in there. So you'll find that a lot of the ready-made frames will be set up like this. But if the clips come off, this is quite a handy bit of kit.
Yeah, I've never
It's
seen one.
sort of on its last legs, this one. But
What's it called?
it's a flexi point gun. I think it cost me about 20 odd quid. It's probably more like 30 quid because I've had it a long time now. But they're quite a good bit of kit. Or if anybody wants me to bring this in, if you've got want to fit things in, it's easy to bring that. So that's basically the range of what I do. The other kind of style of frame that you could go for is something a bit more like this, which is like a float frame. I quite like the look of these. These are a bit more of a modern look. It's a bit more, for me, a bit more fiddly to fit if it's a board, but actually canvases are quite easy to fit in these because you can just literally drill some holes and screw them from the back. So that's another style of frame that you could go for. Some of these others, when I bought my frame cutting machine, the chap who was selling it, I bought it second hand, had lots of mouldings he wanted to sell. So it gave me the opportunity to try sort of different styles really. So I kind of had some slightly goldy ones, and then tried some flatter ones, and basically try different things out, which is quite nice to see what frames suit your work really.
Yeah. And all of those you've got actually pick out colours in the pictures, don't they?
I think so.
They do, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
some work better than the others. This one actually started out just as a simple frame like that. I thought, well, they look a little bit too plain, so I then, this was one of the mouldings that came with the machine, so I just kind of put another moulding around it, and I think that sort of helped it. And this one was the same sort of thing, just kind of livened it up a little bit with another second row. So yeah, I just thought I'd sort of bring a few in just to give you a few ideas of different ways you can go about framing your work. The downside of making your own is that it takes an awful lot of time, and it's quite fiddly, really is very fiddly. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. But to be honest, you can buy this sort of style of frame, or the grey one I showed you. You can buy these as just plain frames and then paint them up yourself. So you probably, it might be like 20, 30 quid, but you can kind of paint them any colour you want. For me, the good thing about this sort of style is that quite often I work into exhibitions, and I've had a couple come back this year that have had chunks taken out of them, or they've been dropped and the corners come undone. And to an extent, they're sort of repairable. I can kind of fill them a little bit, or if they get scuffed, I can repaint them. Where some of them, I mean, I really like this one, but I wouldn't put that in an exhibition because I know that once that gets knocked, I can't really mend that one. Whereas this style, it's a little bit easier to just give it another coat of paint, a bit of
I
fluff
don't know if I'm right, but I've seen in the range a plastic one that looks like
yeah, there probably is. Yeah, you can probably they've got all sorts of styles. And again, you might be able to repaint it a different colour if you wanted a different colour.
Yeah,
So,
it was white. It looked
Yeah,
like that.
and if you do want to frame your work, it's worth thinking about, you know, the shape, because a lot of standard size frames you could then paint to that shape and size.
Yeah.
I notice you haven't got glass in any of them, have you?
Only this one
Only
that
that
I've got
one,
ready
yes.
made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oil paintings you don't tend
You
to
don't want to-
paint
no,
glass.
no.
You don't tend to put glass on.
No,
You
no.
don't really need it. I mean, this is varnish, so if any marks get on this, I can just wash them off. I can cut glass, but it's a bit fiddly, and I don't really want lots of glass
No,
around.
My I'm not been so lucky lately, but I used to buy a lot of charity ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what I liked about the old charity ones, not the new charity ones, the old charity ones, they had a glass centre,
Glass.
a glass front.
Oh yeah.
And if you've done an ordinary painting, it can deteriorate, can it?
Yeah,
But with
yeah.
these glass ones, it lasts longer.
Yeah. If it's things like watercolours and drawings you need behind glass, acrylics are probably going to be alright, and you can always varnish it, and that will protect it. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried varnishing it, I tried the spray varnish, it wasn't very good.
Yeah, but paint varnishes, they're just painting it on. This one, it's easier, just get a little drop and paint it on. Anyway, a few ideas for, if you wanted to show your work.
Thank you, Paul.
I've got a charity shop.
Ah, you got one? Yeah.
Just take a charity shop, and I've got the
Yeah, that looks really nice, doesn't it?
the
Yeah.
mouth was a sort of long thing, so I just cut them out.
Yeah, that's worth a treat, isn't it? That's really nice.
£2.50.
Yeah.
Charity shop.
Okay, right. Yeah, good.
Well, it's good to practice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I've got some tape to go. Some tape to go.
Yeah, and that's got the flexi pattern back to it, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah.